Today we're going to talk about storing wine and cellar life. Hi everyone, Anthony here, General Manager of Stiehl Winery, and one of the most frequent questions that we get is how long can wine last and how should I store my wine? So this is kind of a loaded question and I'm going to try to blanket everything the best we can. So storing wine, there's a couple different ways, right? First, you could have an all-out wine cellar at home that'll have air handlers and movement and humidifiers and all that to control the humidity and temperature. By rule, you kind of want red wines to be stored around 55 to 65 degrees with a relative humidity of about 60%, 55, 60%. If you don't have that kind of setup at home, and let's say you just have a run-of-the-mill wine shelf or bookshelves or things like that, you're going to want to pay attention to what kind of wine and what cork is in it. That's the most important thing. So for our wines in particular, we use what's called a Noma cork. So it's a synthetic plant-based cork that will breathe like a regular cork, but the wine can be stored upright, it can be stored on its side. It could be stored almost in any direction that way because the cork does not need to stay wet that way. It's a synthetic cork. It'll let this wine breathe all the time. If this is a real cork, then the wine has to be stored on its side because the wine needs to keep in constant contact with the cork to allow this bottle to breathe properly. If not, if you store wines with real cork upright and they're in too hot of temperatures, the cork will actually start to dry out, which will allow too much oxygen into the wine and it'll oxidize the wine, or it'll called cork taint. It'll actually turn this wine, if it's red wine, almost into vinegar. If it's white wine, it'll just be gross. It'll turn it brown. You can almost see it in the bottle turning brown. So those are some basic quick tips on storing wine. Temperature wise, you always want whites to be somewhere in the mid 40s. Sparkling wines can be a little bit colder. You never want to go all the way down to freezing. So generally 36, 37 degrees for sparkling wines. White wines about 45 to 48. Red wines about 55 to 60 degrees. So within that, how can you cellar wine? So in front of me here, we have our Brunello. Brunellos are known to be a really good cellared wine. So are Cabernets. So how do you know what the cellar life is? Sometimes on the back labels, the winemaker will give you an idea. Maybe this will sit in barrel for 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. By rule of thumb, any wine that is aged or already aged in oak, the longer it sees oak, the longer that life can be extended. It also depends on your storage capacity and how you're cellaring them. Most red wines you can keep in your cellar 8 to 10 years. Some of the bigger cabs can last up to 20. This Brunello here we can age for about 10 to 12 years and it'll be right almost at its peak at about 10 to 12 years that way. White wines, as far as cellaring goes, not so much. Basically Chardonnays that see oak. Some European wines can last that long as well. But definitely Chardonnays and oak can last about 8 to 10 years. There have been some that have lasted a little bit longer. But again, as long as they're stored properly and cellared properly, they'll last quite a while for you. So I hope that answers the question. I know it's kind of vague and blanketed, but again, if any kind of tips or tricks or anything like that, visit our YouTube channel or go to our website at bonstiehl.com or stop into the winery and we'll be glad to answer any questions for you. Hope you enjoy the video and we'll see you soon.